Chair, I now recognize the lady from Vermont, Ms. Balint, for 5 minutes for her questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I continue to be amazed by what the majority chooses to spend our limited time on. Rather than addressing a number of really serious concerns that our constituents have, they're choosing to waste our time by meddling in the District of Columbia and talking about public urination over and over. Just want to make sure, do you have anything additional you want to say about public urination? Now's your time.
I do.
No, not you. I'm talking to, it's not your time. It's a question
I'll wait
to
till your
these
time's
people
up.
who
I
have
do
come
have something
here.
else to say.
Do you have anything additional to say regarding public urination?
I didn't on that, but if I could have 30 seconds to
Yes,
clarify
please.
something that from a previous conversation.
I would, Mr. Allen.
appreciate
Go
it.
ahead.
There had been a discussion earlier that I thought I heard related to Subtitle X in the policing reform and accountability legislation. I believe I heard it stated by a member that it would allow people to go back in time to look at allegations. And I want to be very clear for the record about what it is that this does. It's for incidents occurring on or after the law's effective date, so it does not go back in time. And that database is only for sustained allegations of misconduct pertaining to an officer's commission of a crime, interactions with members of the public, or their integrity in criminal investigations. That's it, but a very crucial element of accountability.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I really appreciate that clarification. Yes,
I'll say
Mr.
this
Mendelson.
regarding public urination. Yes, there was discussion about it. There was never a proposal before the council itself, that would have decriminalized it. What was given to the council, what came out of committee to the council, was as a criminal offense. And this is one of the challenges with the revised criminal code, is that there's a lot of misstatements that have been made over the last several months. For instance, one member of Congress, I believe, said that we were decriminalizing carjacking, which we were not.
Yeah.
And I could go into more detail, but time probably doesn't allow. But urination is, and under the revised criminal code, would have continued to be a criminal offense.
Thank you for clarifying that. I really appreciate that. You know, our nation was born out of a revolution over taxation without representation. And yet we're here in this committee contemplating overriding, yet again, a piece of legislation passed by the duly elected members of the D.C. Council. The people of D.C. deserve better. They are Americans. They deserve statehood. They deserve to have their voices heard. D.C. residents are required to pay all federal taxes, despite the fact that they have no voting representation in Congress. What an un-American idea. Let's look at D.C.'s distribution to the federal, contributions to the federal treasury. D.C. pays more federal taxes than 23 states. And 6 of our Republican colleagues on this committee represent states that pay less in federal taxes per capita than D.C. Alabama, Kansas, North Dakota, South Carolina among them. D.C. pays more federal taxes per capita than any state. Per capita, D.C. pays over $50,000. Mr. Chairman, your home state of Kentucky pays $8,000, just over $8,000, $50,000 per capita versus $8,000 per capita. Chairman Mendelson, what is it like for D.C. residents to be drafted, tax-paying American citizens who have no voting representation in Congress? Please give voice to your constituents here.
Well, it's very frustrating, but more than that, it's not good government. It means that governing the District of Columbia is more difficult. We've outlined here ways in which our criminal justice process would function better if we had full home rule, which is statehood. But I'm not here so much today to talk about statehood as just, to dispel some of the misunderstandings with regard to the bill that I believe the committee is going to consider rejecting later today, and that it's about police accountability. And it's actually, most of it is law right now, because most of it's gone through congressional review already. And so if Congress were to repeal it, that's the challenge we have, not having statehood. If Congress were to reject it, then it's actually a step backward. For the first time, the union was not able to negotiate its discipline. And as one of the members pointed out, chief after chief after chief has said that the union bargaining its disciplinary process has actually been has resulted in bad cops being reinstated on the police force. Not only does it cost us money, the auditor put out a report that said $14 million in back pay, but these are bad cops. Somebody who rapes a woman and then is put back on the police force, and not only is that not a cop that I want representing us, but it's also a cop who will not be, the U.S. attorney can't use in court. They have no credibility as a witness in any case. So this is really harmful when Congress is able to step in and in this piecemeal way reject policies that we've adopted, and in this case, a police accountability bill, and I apologize that I've used up so much of your time.
That's okay, Mr. Mendelson. I really appreciate it. In conclusion, what I wanted to say is that there are no other democratic nations in the world that deny voting representation to citizens living in their capital. I yield back.
I'd just like to point out to the gentlelady there are a number of reasons why the income tax is so much higher in D.C. It's the median income is higher. With that,